Hey, I'm Joshua. Hope you're having a great day. I am going to do a little bit of renovations here with my compost section. Let me bring you along with me and show you what's going on. The first step here is getting rid of the finished compost. So we're going to take this out. We're going to combine two of our composting circles, and then we're going to be starting some new compost piles. So let me give you an overview here and get started. So we have a 5-circle compost setup here. And what it is, it's just using chicken wire to kind of hold in the circles, to have some structure. I've got T-posts. This one's a T-post. I have U-posts. The U-posts work perfectly fine. They don't need to be as heavy duty as those T-posts for this type of setup. It breathes and drains very easily, so you get lots of oxygen in it. It can dry out a little bit faster in this type of setup with all of this airflow. So if you're in a really hot area, you might want a more enclosed compost section, but this has worked well for us. Super cheap and easy to set up, and lots of space. I can remove part of the chicken wire to easily scoop it out, so that way we have easy access to each pile. The walkways between these composting circles have gotten muddy in the past, so I've added some arborist chips, just some mulch from shredded trees, and the chickens have actually come through and dug up a little bit, so it's not quite even. They've found some great bugs in this area. So what we'll do each year is we'll kind of take out some of this mulch, add it to the compost. The wood chips take a little bit longer to break down, maybe a couple years, but they will break down, and we'll add some fresh mulch just to kind of keep this area with good walkways. That's my current plan. So now we're just going to empty this finished compost. This one has been in here even longer than it needs to be. This probably was finished filling up last fall, and I just didn't use it this summer. So we're going to use it now to tuck in some of our beds for the winter. We'll do a layer of this compost and then some leaf mulch or straw mulch on top. All right, look at this stuff. Look how rich that is. Oh man. Homemade compost. We could strain this if we wanted to get out some of these bigger chunks that will take longer to break down. However, I'm not really concerned about that because they'll break down in the garden, and we'll layer fresh compost on once or twice a year at least. And yeah, look at that. Oh, nice. It's a great consistency. We almost have all of the finished compost out of this circle. Once we have that last little bit out, that one will be ready to start a new pile. Right now, we're going to go ahead and combine these two piles here, so that way they can finish together and we get another empty one to fill up. All right, so I'll unhook this and swing this out so we can easily shovel it in. But what I'll do first is I'll just stir this one up, flip it around. All right, this pile is fully turned. Let's go ahead and open up that second pile behind us and add it to this one. So we'll free up a new one to get started. This is actually the one time I like using U-posts more than the T-posts. The shape of the top is what shows you if it's a U or a T. The U-posts are definitely thinner. They're kind of bent steel versus the solid T-posts that are much stronger. Often the T-posts don't even cost more, maybe a little bit, but it really depends on where you get them. Tractor Supply is a great place to get the T-posts, but the U-posts are nice because they have these clips built in to be able to hook up the wire to. And there we go, we can just pull this back and easily shovel this out. Just need a little bit opened. There we go. All right, you can see there's a little bit of weeds growing in. We'll pull those weeds out, but everything else will get tossed over into this pile here. Oh yeah, the middle of this pile is really good. Here, let me clear the top off. I'll bring you over and show you. This one is coming along nicely. There's definitely parts of it that are already like fully composted, but then there's some bigger chunks as well that are still breaking down. So we'll go ahead and just turn it in with this one, and then expect to use it maybe at the start of spring if we need it. If not, we can wait until a little bit further into summer next year. With this design, as you can probably see, there is the compost overspilling through the sides. It does a great job keeping the structure for the most part, especially when you first put in bigger items. What I'll do is I'll kind of just rake around it and then shovel it back in, still use it. It's just what happens with using the chicken wire as the side. All right, now that these two compost piles are combined, we're gonna start a brand new one. And we're gonna start it with grass clippings and shredded leaves that we freshly just mowed. So we are at the end of our grass growing season, and it is fall, so the leaves are almost done falling from the trees. We're about halfway, maybe a little bit more halfway for our leaves falling. So we mowed up some of the grass and the leaves together, and we'll add some other things as well. If you have finished compost, it's recommended to add a little bit of it to your new compost pile. That will give it a jump start with the microbial life that's in the finished compost. It is fall cleanup in the garden, so we have tons of plant clippings, and that is going to be a great thing to add to the compost. That's probably one of the obvious things, plant clippings, that when you think of what you're going to put in your compost. So we'll add these. We'll also add, well, let me show you. All right, got our kitchen compost, and we're going to head back to the compost bin, but just take a look at all of those loofah. That's a separate video, but we are greatly enjoying, well, can't really say we're enjoying it yet, but we harvested all of our loofah and are in the middle of processing it. It's gonna take some time. I stopped in the shed to grab a bag of shredded leaves. So what I'm starting to do is just keep bags about this size of shredded leaves. We have tons of leaves that we're able to store and to use in the garden as mulch, and in the compost as a good carbon source. So when we add the kitchen scraps to the compost, it is going to be rich in nitrogen, and the shredded leaves will help counter that, balance it, and help keep the odor down as well. So if you have stinky compost, you most likely don't have enough carbon source to offset the high nitrogen, so you want to have a good balance. And we are caught up on our composting chores. We have this one back here that we're not going to add anything else to. This is the one that we combined. It's going to just sit through the winter. In the spring, we'll start using that compost. This one over here, we will add more to it when it starts sinking down. This has a lot of fresh ingredients: shredded leaves, grass clippings, the hemp bedding from our chicken coop with all the chicken manure. So that one's going to sink down pretty quickly. It was full to the top. You can see it's already going down. So we'll add to that one as it goes down. Same with this one here. We'll add to this one as it goes down a little bit more. And then once we add to it one or two more times, it depends on how much we add at a time. Sometimes we'll add each week, which is totally fine, and we'll add that for another month or two. So we'll add to those, and then at some point I'll just cut it off and say we're done adding to it. Let's just let it finish composting. We have this brand new one here that we started. Each couple days, week, we'll add our kitchen scraps to this with shredded leaves, any other scraps from the garden. Once this one is full, and we're gonna wait for that to go down, then we have that other one there that still has a little bit of finished compost we're using up in the garden. We'll start a new one there. So that's our system. It doesn't have to be elaborate. You can start with just a pile on the ground like we did. You can use containers. You can use one of those tumbler ones that are easy to rotate, easy to shuffle. There's a better word here, I know it. Easy to spin, easy to dig, easy to rotate, easy to combine, easy to, yeah, I think all those words work. So just start composting. There's many methods, different styles. Just start, do a little bit of research. Hopefully this has helped you just to see my setup. Thank you for liking and commenting on this video. Subscribe or follow if you haven't already. I'm Joshua with The Garden is Growing. I hope you can spend some time in your garden today.